Have you ever caught a smell that came from nowhere? A sudden sense, strange, intense, and deep down something in you whispered, something's not right. That wasn't your imagination. That was a spiritual alert. Because when you are one of the chosen ones, you don't just see signs, you feel them, you smell them. You are wired to detect what others can't. The spiritual realm is loud, but it rarely speaks in words. It speaks in energy, in sensations, in invisible warnings, and yes, in smells. Today, I'm going to expose 10 strange and specific scents that can appear right before danger strikes. These aren't coincidences. They are coded messages to protect those who carry divine purpose. But here's the catch. If you ignore them, if you brush them off as just in your head, you risk walking straight into a trap, a spiritual ambush. So stay sharp, stay open, because what you're about to hear could shift the way you move in this world forever. And if you're still watching, it's not by accident. You are here because you were meant to receive this. So do this. Like this video not for the algorithm, but as a declaration. I am awake. Subscribe if you haven't already, because this channel isn't entertainment. It's spiritual armor, and comment 99 if you feel that deep stirring in your soul, because 9 means divine completion and 99 is a signal of your spiritual upgrade. Let's begin. There's a reason sulfur has been linked to darkness for centuries. It's not just folklore. It's not superstition. When that sharp, acidic scent hits your nose, and you know with absolute certainty that there's no physical source, you're not just walking through air. You just stepped into a spiritual battlefield. Sulfur is the stench of corruption, not physical decay, but spiritual decay, a space tainted by energies that don't belong, a room that looks ordinary but is drenched in invisible darkness. If this smell follows you, if it clings to your clothes, your car, or even appears in your dreams, it may mean that a demonic presence is near, not always to attack, but sometimes just to observe, to study you, to see how close it can get before you notice. You must understand this. Evil rarely screams. It whispers. It lingers quietly in the shadows, waiting for your guard to drop. And sulfur is its calling card. It sent its signature. But it gets deeper. There's another smell, rotten eggs, that carries its own chilling truth. Rotten eggs don't just mean something is decaying. They mean something is rotting behind a mask, a person, a relationship, a connection you once trusted. This smell doesn't warn you of demons. It warns you of liars in disguise. Someone in your circle smiling, supporting, laughing with you, maybe quietly plotting against you. Their words sweet, but their intentions spoiled to the core. The smell of rotten eggs is your cue to look deeper, to stop assuming, to start discerning. Your spirit picks it up before your mind does. Don't silence that warning. Don't second guess your intuition. And here's what no one tells you. The closer you get to your breakthrough, the louder the spiritual world becomes. These smells are not random. They're spiritual alarms. And someone or something is hoping you sleep through them. But you're not asleep, are you? Because the next 2 smells are even stranger, even more revealing. And they show up right before something or someone breaks. Stay with me. The warning signs are only just beginning. There's a scent that stops you cold, a smell so distinct, so primal that your body reacts before your mind can explain it. Burning hair. It doesn't just smell like something is on fire. It smells like something sacred is being violated. It carries a silent scream, a warning that something precious is being torn apart behind the veil in the spiritual realm. Burning hair isn't about physical flames. It's about identity calling anointing. Hair has always symbolized spiritual strength, from Samson's power to the crown of spiritual authority. So when you smell it and nothing is burning, that's not a coincidence. It's a coded message. something, or someone is trying to burn away your essence. Ask yourself, what have I allowed into my space that is slowly corrupting my spirit? Is it a thought, pattern, a person, a habit dressed as comfort, but moving like a curse? The scent of burning hair isn't about fear. It's about awareness. The spiritual world is saying, you're under attack, but you're still on time. And then there's another scent, one that most people ignore because it smells so artificial, so modern: burning plastic. It's a smell that shouldn't exist naturally. And that's the key. When this smell shows up seemingly out of nowhere, it's often a sign that something unnatural is trying to become part of your world. A relationship that looks good, but is spiritually toxic. Opportunity that shines, but underneath melts your purpose. Burning plastic is the stench of false light, things pretending to be safe while secretly poisoning your peace. This scent appears when you're too close to something that may not harm your body, but is suffocating your spirit. And here's the twist. It usually comes right before a major decision, a fork in the road, a moment where you'll either align or compromise. It's not about paranoia. It's about discernment, because some attacks come dressed as blessings, and some dangers smell like nothing at all until you learn to listen to the silence and smell what others ignore. If you've sensed either of these before, you've already been warned. Now, what you do next is everything. And yet this is only the surface, because the next two smells, they don't just signal danger. They confront the very systems trying to erase you. Don't look away now. It's about to get even more personal. There's something deeply unsettling about the smell of bleach. To the average person, it means clean, disinfected, sanitized, sterile. But to the spiritually awake, that scent can feel unnatural, too harsh, too forced, like something or someone is trying to erase more than just dirt. In the spirit realm, bleach doesn't symbolize purity. It symbolizes erasure, the removal of identity, the wiping out of spiritual fingerprints, the attempt to silence something divinely planted inside you. When you smell bleach without explanation, it may not be your surroundings that are being cleansed. It may be you. Ask yourself, what part of me is being diluted right now? What voice inside you is being told to hush? What truth is being rewritten in the name of peace or order? This scent often shows up when you're in environments that feel polished on the outside, but are spiritually suppressive beneath the surface. It could be a relationship where you're always shrinking, a job that demands your silence instead of your brilliance, a system that applauds your obedience but fears your truth. Bleach is the smell of spiritual gentrification, where your soul is being scrubbed clean of its wildness, its depth, its fire. And then there's ammonia, sharp, stinging, almost aggressive. This scent doesn't sneak up on you. It hits hard, like a confrontation, like a spiritual slap in the face. Ammonia is the smell of psychic warfare, of emotional danger. It shows up when someone is trying to control the atmosphere, not through love, but through manipulation. You might notice it after a heated conversation or in the presence of someone who always tries to dominate your choices, make you question your intuition, or twist your reality until you no longer trust your own mind. This isn't just about toxic people. This is about spiritual hijacking entities, human or otherwise, that try to override your divine will and reprogram your soul through fear, guilt, or confusion. If the smell of ammonia appears, take it seriously. It may be your spirit's final warning before you surrender your clarity to someone else's agenda. bleach and ammonia together. That's not just a chemical reaction. That's a spiritual collision. Two energies, one trying to erase, the other trying to dominate. And if you've smelled either, it means your inner world is under renovation or invasion. And you must decide which one it will be. But don't leave now, because the next scent doesn't just come to warn you. It comes to open a portal to something hidden, ancient, and fiercely sacred. There's a smell that instantly awakens your senses. A sharp, cold scent that seems to pierce straight through the atmosphere. Metallic blood. It's not just the scent of the physical. It's the scent of battle. Spiritual battle. And if you've smelled it without injury or reason, it means you've stepped onto holy ground, under siege. Chosen one, you are being targeted, not because you're weak, but because you're dangerous to darkness. The scent of blood in the spirit is a signal. The war around you has intensified. Principalities have taken notice, and now they're moving. It often comes right before breakthrough, right before clarity, right before you level up into a realm of authority that terrifies the enemy. This scent is not to scare you. It's to activate you, to remind you, you were never born for comfort. You were born for combat. So when you sense it even faintly, don't ignore it. Don't shake it off. Cover yourself in prayer. Seal your space. Speak protection over your mind, your body, your calling. Because the presence of that scent means something is trying to draw blood from your destiny. And then comes a quieter smell, less violent, but equally powerful rust. That old bitter scent of iron decaying. Things once strong, now collapsing. Dreams you once held tight, now corroding from neglect or spiritual attack. Rust is the smell of what's been sitting too long. Connections that should have been broken. Opportunities that turned into prisons. Habits that once served you, but now drain you. If you smell rust and there's no metal around, it may be a spiritual diagnosis. A divine way of saying something here is no longer alive. And what's worse, you might be trying to revive it. A relationship that you know deep down is over. A version of yourself that no longer fits. A goal that came from fear, not purpose. Rust is gentle but firm. It doesn't scream. It whispers, let go. Because holding on to what's decaying will infect what's still growing. And here's the secret. When you honor that message, when you release what's rusted, something new begins to form in its place. The scent of metallic blood is about the battle. The scent of rust is about the release. Both are warnings, but also invitations to fight for what matters and let go of what doesn't. And just when you think you've smelled it all, the final pair of scents arrives. And they don't just signal danger. They mark the moment when destiny collides with deception. Don't blink. The last revelation is about to unfold. There's a scent that creeps in quietly, almost unnoticeable at first. But once you catch it, you feel it in your chest. Heavy, damp, suffocating mold. To most, it's just a sign of moisture. But to the spiritually awakened, mold is a prophetic alarm, a signal that something has been festering, not in your walls, but in your soul. It's a smell of stagnation, of what's been left unattended, unspoken, unhealed. When mold appears in your life without a physical cause, it means there's something growing in the dark, something hidden, and it's feeding off your silence. It could be a secret you've buried, a fear you've ignored, a lie you've told yourself so many times, you've started to believe it. And just like mold, it starts small, but it spreads quietly until it infects your peace, your clarity, your purpose. Chosen one, This scent is not just a warning, it's a demand. Bring it to the light. Whatever you've been avoiding, now is the time to confront it. Because if you don't, it will consume the very air you breathe. Then comes the smell of wet earth. At first, it feels innocent, almost nostalgic, like rain falling on dry soil. It brings a moment of stillness. But beneath that stillness is something stirring. When this smell arrives without a storm, you are not imagining it. The earth itself is speaking. Wet earth is the scent of revelation. It appears when something long buried, a truth, a memory, a calling is starting to resurface. It's the moment before breakthrough, before clarity shatters confusion, before a divine secret is whispered into your spirit. You may feel a sudden awareness, a hunch, a flash of insight you can't explain. That's not coincidence. That's alignment. This scent means you're being prepared. Prepared to uncover what's been hidden, to awaken what's been asleep, to remember what was never truly lost. But be warned, revelation always brings disruption, and not everyone around you is ready for what you're about to see. So when you smell wet earth with no rain, know this: heaven is about to unearth something for your eyes only. Together, mold and wet earth form a sacred message. Expose the rot, uncover the truth, and step into the new ground God is revealing beneath your feet. But don't move yet, because in the final moments of this message, everything will come full circle, and what was once confusing will suddenly make perfect divine sense. These smells, they were never random. They were never meaningless. Each one was a code, a whisper from the spiritual realm, a divine alert meant only for those who have the eyes to see and the soul to sense. Chosen one, you are not like the rest. You don't just walk into rooms. You shift the atmosphere. That's why you feel what others don't. That's why you notice what others ignore. Because your senses have been sanctified. When sulfur invades your peace, when rust fills the air without a cause, when mold creeps into your space with no explanation, it's not your imagination, it's your spirit sounding the alarm. And from this day forward, you'll never walk unaware again. You'll listen, you'll discern, you'll recognize the unseen. Because now you know, the nose sees what the eyes cannot. And for the chosen, every scent is a signal. God is not just watching over you. He is speaking to you, guiding you, and arming you for the battles ahead. So rise with confidence. Speak protection over your space. Take back your atmosphere and move like someone who's seen behind the veil. Comment below, "My spirit is awake." Declare it. Seal it. Let the enemy know you're no longer asleep. You're covered. You're called. You're chosen. And you were born for this. Now go walk in power. Walk in truth. Walk in divine awareness, because heaven walks with you. And nothing hidden will stay hidden from the eyes of the awakened.